I'm Ella Hetherington. I'm a theatre maker. I have a multidisciplinary practice. I've been making and being in work and being around theatre and art for about the last 18 years. I'm a co-creator and performer in Catastrophes.
My name is Renée Newman and I am also a co-creator and co-performer on Catastrophes. I have a background in theatre. I'm a performance maker. I have been an actor and a writer and a producer and a director for close to 20 years, and I'm also a university academic.
Catastrophes is a beautiful, chaotic conversation between two friends about micro and macro catastrophes, specifically of the last 5 years, up until the night that the show will be performed.
And so yes, Catastrophes is autobiographical.
And poignant.
And darkly comic.
And beautiful. I was living in Sydney and Ren was still here, and we had babies around the same time. And in that early phase, we decided to write something and we started just bouncing some writing tasks to each other. That became a very small performance work, just a 10-minute little seed idea with no hopes or dreams to really become anything else. But we really enjoyed doing it. There was a real ease to that process of bouncing a script backwards and forwards.
You know, over the last 3 years, we've had a development each year where we've been able to engage in different ways. So one year it's about engaging with the design and really playing with that. Another time it's about making sure that the text is constantly dynamic and being updated and finding that relationship to the design. And without the use of space and the different departments of PICA, we would not have been able to really make the most of those moments. So the collaboration it really started with us supporting each other through that early stages of having children. And we realised that that support with, you know, quite silly 4 a.m. text messages, that they actually formed an interesting text. And that small performance that we did, there was some really nice responses to it. So from that, we started thinking about how we could actually formalise that and develop it further. And that's when we started asking people that we wanted to come on board. Mark Haslam, Ben Collins, people we trust, people we respect, and knew we could work with and develop it further. And we knew that it would have very strong image and sound components to it. So that collaboration was really important to be able to develop that further and keep it going, so that we could also trust that we could continue to work with the text, but always know that there was going to be this very big design component to it. And so that collaboration then developed further and further.
I guess within the text of the work, we use the devices of direct address, Q&A, verbatim.
Verbatim, we take actual text from sort of public domain newspapers or TV series, TV shows.
And that has come in response to the process. We've interviewed each other and we've then transcribed those conversations that have become part of the text. Our text messages have become part of the text. All of that information that we've gathered throughout the process has been then put through a very rigorous dramaturgical process of script editing and curation. In terms of the design, I guess the main elements of the work are text, visual, set design and sound and light. The text is a very rapid fire, quick, conversational, it changes between a very kind of casual conversation to a more kind of a heightened poetic language. And once that text emerged, we really realised that we needed something to juxtapose it. And that's when the big set piece came into be, this soft, organic breath, sort of sculptural piece that could envelop the work and juxtapose that intensity of the text.
In terms of a sense of ambience, perhaps, so both the light and the sculptural piece, which is the cloth, as well as the sound, there's mechanisms you can do to counter. So if our work is, or our text is perhaps overly or particularly poetic in a particular moment, then we can shift it by having something that's like a screeching train, for example. We can play with all of these different conventions that actually set a tone, create tension, and tell a story in a different way. The work itself is firmly contemporary performance as opposed to theatre, so it's non-narrative. We play ourselves, we don't play characters, and it's using the conventions of that juxtaposition, of being able to actually hold things in tension. So something's very beautiful, then we do something that's jarring. We use this mechanism of using concepts that are very large, or metaphors perhaps, in order to tell a story or to tell something about our own lives. So Catastrophes is very much about how something very small can go wrong in your life, or it can be infinitely frustrating or anxiety inducing. And of course, when you actually position that up against, say, the war in the Ukraine or climate change, then this is a difficult kind of tension to exist in. And this is something that's quite common as a technique that would be used in contemporary performance. But I think it can make the audience feel different things.
It can mean many things and should mean many different things.
Make them feel like they're safe and that they're inside something that's warm and comforting and protected, and sometimes it might feel like a wave, and that's very intentional.
And overwhelming and claustrophobic and enveloping, as well as being something that is full of breath and life. Yeah, that duality I think is within all the metaphors of the work.
Yeah. And I think ultimately what has always propelled us right from the beginning was a desire to understand that different forms of truth-telling, especially if it's risky types of truth-telling, is an act of kindness to self and to
That was really the seed of the work, was the idea of care through truth-telling and kindness through truth-telling, and that vulnerability, I guess, is something, and that complete honesty is something that is lesser in a highly curated world. And this is incredibly honest and incredibly vulnerable. But I guess those devices in there, such as metaphor and things like that, are almost protection devices in the work as well.
And there are ways in which to expand it. So perhaps not necessarily making them universal experiences, but also being able to say, this is not just a show about two women who have had children. It's a show about what it means to be living in the 21st century. So what do we want the audience to take away from the show?
I think they'll be able to relate to a lot of it. I think hopefully they will feel a little bit hopeful.
Yeah.
I think they may have had a few gentle little laughs in there. And I think they will hopefully appreciate being a part of a conversation. It's like a really good eavesdropping session. And I hope they enjoy that.
Yeah. We just hope that they really enjoy time spent listening to Ella's humiliating stories.